Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a cornerstone of American literature, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a powerful novella published back in 1937, right in the thick of the Great Depression. And look, we're not just going to give you the plot points today.
No, definitely not.
We've taken the key insights from the source material to really explore why this book still hits so hard all these decades later. Our aim is to go beyond just the story itself.
Exactly. We want to dig deep into the fabric of it, understand the big themes Steinbeck was wrestling with, the very real struggles of these characters, and just what makes it feel so, well, timeless.
Yeah.
It's incredible moving, but also, let's be honest, it's devastating. It really gives you this stark, unflinching look at, the human condition.
So let's unpack this right from the start. It all centers on this incredible duo, George Milton and Lenny Small.
Right.
George, he's described as small, sharp, protective, carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, the brains of the operation, you could say.
Yeah.
And then there's Lenny. Physically, he's a giant, huge strength. Mentally, he has this disability that makes him very childlike, very dependent on George.
Completely dependent.
And what just jumps out at you immediately is their bond. It's this fierce, almost family-like connection they have.
Which was so unusual then.
Totally. In that world of migrant workers, so many lonely guys moving around, their relationship is just, it's different. It stands out.
It's a real anchor for them.
And tied right into that bond, driving everything they do, is their dream.
The dream. Yeah.
It's simple, really, but just so potent. Owning a little piece of land, their own small farm.
Live off the fat of the land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That phrase George always uses. And, crucially for Lenny, a place where he gets to tend rabbits. Soft things. This isn't just some casual wish. It's their lifeline. It gives them hope, something to hold on to, which is such a stark contrast to their actual lives. We're just moving from job to job, bunkhouse to bunkhouse. And what's really fascinating there, I think, is how that very personal, almost simple dream, the farm, the rabbits, becomes this powerful commentary on the whole idea of the American dream.
Especially during the Depression, yeah.
Right. Steinbeck is showing us pretty brutally how for people on the margins, like George and Lenny, that big dream often isn't really achievable. It's more like a necessary story they tell themselves to survive psychologically.
Right, coping mechanism.
Exactly. It's the narrative that keeps them putting one foot in front of the other, but it's fragile. And their reliance on it, well, it's their greatest strength because it gives them purpose, this unique bond.
But it's also their biggest weakness.
Precisely. Because when that dream gets threatened, everything just falls apart.
Yeah.
It really underscores how the system, the circumstances of the time, made that dream almost impossible for people without power or, privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see that fragility almost immediately when they arrive at the ranch in California, this new job. The ranch. In this place, it's not just scenery. Steinbeck sets it up like a mini society, doesn't he? A microcosm, packed with characters, each dealing with their own kind of loneliness and, well, desperation.
Definitely. It's where all the tensions start to surface.
So first, there's Candy. He's the old ranch hand. Lost a hand in an accident. Got this really old dog he loves.
Yeah. Clinging on.
Totally. He's terrified. You can feel it. Terrified of being seen as useless, of being thrown out when he can't work anymore. So when he hears about George and Lenny's dream,
He latches onto it.
but desperately, he sees it as his only way out, his last chance. It's quite heartbreaking, actually.
It really is.
Then you've got Curly, the boss's son.
Ugh, Curly.
Yeah. Small guy, big attitude problem, insecure, always looking for a fight.
Especially with bigger guys.
Exactly. Which puts Lenny, who wouldn't hurt a fly intentionally, but is huge, right in his path. It's like trouble waiting to happen.
An obvious source of conflict right there.
And then there's Curly's wife. Significantly, she's never given a name.
Which says so much, doesn't it? About her place, her identity, or lack thereof, in that world.
Right. She's lonely, trapped in this bad marriage, clearly craving attention, maybe dreaming of a different life herself. She kind of flirts with the ranch hands, but it's dangerous territory for her, and for them, she's just isolated.
Very isolated. And searching for connection in ways that are, well, ultimately destructive.
And maybe the most isolated figure of all is Crooks, the black stable hand.
Ah, Crooks. Such a powerful character.
He's literally kept separate, lives alone in this little room off the barn because of the color of his skin.
Yeah, the racism is just laid bare there. It's brutal.
His character really embodies this profound loneliness, but also the bitterness and pain that come from that kind of constant discrimination. His cynicism, his defensiveness, it's all born from that isolation.
And if you tie all those characters together, Candy, Curly's wife, Crooks, you see Steinbeck painting this picture of different kinds of marginalization, different kinds of loneliness, all intersecting on this one dusty ranch.
Yeah, it's like a pressure cooker.
It really is. Candy's fear of becoming useless, Curly's wife's yearning for identity, Crook's pain from racial prejudice, they all speak to the struggle for dignity in really harsh circumstances.
Circumstances that just grind people down.
Right. And their hopes, their small broken dreams are not just background details. They fuel the story. They show us what's at stake. The human need for connection and purpose, even when the world seems set against you. The ranch becomes this crucible, like you said, where their fates collide.
A crucible is exactly the word, because those tensions, they don't just simmer, they boil over.
Inevitably, it feels like.
Yeah, there's this sense of doom hanging over everything. The first big explosion happens when Curly picks on Lenny.
Right, pushes him too far.
And Lenny, he doesn't mean to, but he's so strong and he panics. He ends up crushing Curly's hand, just completely unintentionally.
And that's a huge moment. It shows just how dangerous Lenny's combination of strength and innocence is. It ramps up the fear.
Definitely. It foreshadows that things can go wrong very, very quickly. But the real turning point, the moment everything breaks, it comes later, with Curly's wife.
Mm-hmm. The final tragedy.
She finds Lenny alone, and she's just desperate for someone to talk to, someone to listen. She makes this vulnerable gesture, lets him stroke her hair because he likes soft things.
And again, that fatal combination.
He doesn't understand. He gets scared when she panics, holds on too tight, and he accidentally breaks her neck, kills her.
It's just profoundly awful because it stems from his innocence, his lack of understanding, colliding with her own desperate loneliness.
Yeah. It's not malicious, but it's catastrophic.
And this really brings up that whole theme of strength versus weakness, doesn't it? Lenny's immense physical strength is his greatest weakness in a way, because he can't control it. He's mentally fragile.
Right. The two are completely mismatched.
And it creates this feeling of, well, fate. Like maybe this is always going to happen, like a ticking clock.
Because as soon as she's found dead, the reaction is instant.
The mob mentality kicks in.
Exactly. The ranch hands, led by Curly, they want revenge. They want to hunt Lenny down and, lynch him.
A brutal end.
And George knows this. He knows what they'll do to Lenny, how cruel and terrifying it will be. So he faces this. Just this impossible choice.
The ultimate ethical nightmare, really.
Yeah, and in that heartbreaking climax, he finds Lenny back at the riverbank, the place they designated as safe.
Their safe spot.
And he talks to Lenny, tells him about the dream one last time, paints that picture for him.
So Lenny can see it right before.
Right. And then, with just unimaginable pain, George shoots Lenny himself. He spares him the mob.
It's an act of, well, it's violence, but it's framed as this profound act of love. Of compassion, the ultimate act of loyalty, maybe.
It's devastating either way. It just encapsulates everything. The loyalty, the friendship, the tragedy of trying to protect something innocent in a world that just seems determined to crush it.
It really forces you, the reader, to grapple with what loyalty means in the face of such an impossible situation, what mercy looks like in hell.
That final scene, it just stays with you, doesn't it? So thinking about that ending and the whole story, it becomes really clear why Of Mice and Men has such lasting power.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just sort of lay out those core themes again, the ones Steinbeck weaves through it all. There's the American dream, right?
Yeah.
Always there with George and Lenny, but shown as this kind of cruel illusion for most.
Yeah, fragile.
Then friendship and loyalty. That bond between George and Lenny is like a tiny light against the darkness of the loneliness and isolation that pretty much everyone else feels.
Everyone. Candy, Crooks, Curly's wife.
Yeah.
They're all isolated in their own ways.
And we see strength and weakness constantly, especially with Lenny. His physical power versus his mental vulnerability.
That terrible, tragic paradox.
And looming over it all is this sense of fate and tragedy. Like, no matter how hard they dream or try, they're caught. They can't escape their circumstances or maybe their natures.
Right. It feels predetermined somehow.
Yeah.
And it's the way Steinbeck braids all those themes together
Yeah.
that makes it so much more than just a sad story. It's a deep look at the human condition.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's the genius of it, I think.
Yeah.
Of Mice and Men manages to be about both dreams and despair all at once.
Yeah.
Steinbeck captures the grinding reality for ordinary forgotten people during the Depression. No sugarcoating.
Not at all.
But even in that bleakness, he emphasizes how vital compassion and companionship are. Those human connections, even if they're flawed or temporary, they're like lifelines. The
Yeah.
only things making life bearable sometimes.
Absolutely.
And the tragic ending, it's not just there to make you sad. It really forces a reflection on how fragile hope is, how easily dreams can be shattered by forces beyond our control, societal forces, personal limitations. It makes you question destiny, really.
So where does that leave us today? Thinking about this book, this deep dive, it's really been a journey through human connection, the power of dreams, and the harsh ways reality can interfere. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, about empathy, about loyalty, especially when things get incredibly tough. Steinbeck's work just feels timeless because it holds up a mirror to us, our hopes, our fears, the ethical tightropes we sometimes walk.
It really does. And maybe a final thought to leave you with is this. Considering that immense, almost unbearable loyalty George showed Lenny, and the sacrifice he ultimately made,
Yeah.
what does Of Mice and Men really tell us about the true cost of compassion? What is the meaning of doing the right thing or the merciful thing when you're faced with a choice where every option is in some way devastating? And maybe, what are the limits of our duty to protect those we care about?
Wow. That's a heavy question. Definitely something to think about long after you finish the book or finish listening to this. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope these insights into Of Mice and Men stick with you. Until next time.